morning and happy Saturday, you guys. It is Amanda and Barron on Kicking Cancer Cares on KSLM Radio, 104.3 FM and 1220 AM. Our sponsor for this first half is Odd Moe's Pizza. So my weekends for me are like my free, do whatever I want, eat whatever I want, don't have to tend to dinner as much. And so Odd Moe's Pizza is so perfect and convenient for me because after this show, I go to Odd Moe's, I pick up my pizza for my kids and say, here you go, have at it. Now I get to relax and enjoy me time. Yeah. And they get healthy, wholesome food. So I am today going to pick up their Green Monster and their barbecue chicken one. I can't think of the name of it, but it is so good.
Hold on. What's it called?
Bull Rider. The Bull Rider. Yes.
Because our video person actually works for them too, so she knows the name of all the pieces.
Yes. Over the weekend, I ordered the mascot and ate half of it.
Well, I ate all that pizza that one time and didn't eat. I actually lost weight, so that was really cool. And I'm going to grab some potato poppers to go with the pizza.
Of course you are.
I know. Well, for me, let's be honest. So just huge shout out to Mike from Odd Moe's Pizza. It's so nice and convenient. And if you don't want to leave, so I live in Wilsonville. There's actually a few different locations along I-5 that I can stop at, but I'll just stop at the one on Lancaster here in Salem. But there's so many, and they deliver to you as well. If you don't want to leave your house and just slum it up and stay in your jammies and not leave your house, I get it. No problem, no shame in there at all.
It's dark by 5 o'clock.
Yes. Just order it and have it delivered and don't even worry about dinner. I love not having to worry about dinner when my family's, what's for dinner?
Oh, yeah.
On Moe's.
It was traditionally our Friday night date night pizza. We give it to the kids and we go get.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. Then they were happy and we were happy.
Okay. All right. Okay. So Odd Moe's, thank you so much, Mike.
And there was another voice in the room again.
Welcome, Jason.
So I went and checked. This is Dr. Jason Holt. We'll get into a little bit more who you are, but it was November the 27th, so almost 1 year ago.
Oh, wow.
That you were on the show last time.
Oh, wow.
So November the 27th.
Happy 1 year anniversary.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So tell our listeners, Jason, who are you? What do you do here in the community?
My name's Dr. Jason Holt. I'm a chiropractor here in town. And, that's what I do. People come in and I help them take control of their health and make some healthy decisions and get back on track.
Well, it popped my neck again.
Yeah. One of the exciting things is this is kind of a combination of who Jason is and a recap from last week, because last week we were at Aspen Grove and Casey and Melissa were our guests, and right across the hall is your office.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Yep. We share the building. Everybody plays nice together.
Yeah, they do.
That's
a
awesome.
Wonderful. Well, and there's so many great modalities that you guys have there at Aspen Grove that we're going to dive a little bit more into some of the stuff that he does, but I just want to make sure that everybody knows who's in studio with us.
Right.
Yes. Hello, Jason.
But last week's show, well, first off, last week has now been called the Shushing Show.
I love it.
Because you all shushed me numerous times.
I love it.
It was all fun.
It was all fun and games.
But what was the other thing that was fun for me is now that we have this YouTube that we can go back and watch the show, there was one point during the second half where we had our little kale chips, and I'm talking to Casey and Melissa, and I go, where'd all my kale chips go? I had no idea you ate all my kale chips.
I'm so sorry. They
no,
were
you're not.
So good.
Sorry, not sorry.
And
right?
you left them there.
I just
felt
left
like they were abandoned. So I was just.
They were waiting for you to eat them.
They were. Yep. I've never had kale chips like that before, and they had crushed up like walnuts and red pepper chips, and then salt and pepper. They'd be so good.
I know. Just the second half of the show was just so fun to actually have this stuff they're talking about.
Yeah.
So I encourage the listeners to go to YouTube, find Kicking Cancer Productions. Please subscribe and watch some of the stuff that we've got going on. It's really, really good stuff going on.
It is.
Well, and my other shout out, because we did this last week with a lady named Kim Fisk, who is in Davenport, Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So I got an email, and we're going to shout out this gentleman. His name is Bruce Morton. He's in Denver, Colorado.
Hello, Bruce.
And he sends me an email. He says, watched it start to finish. Love the show.
That's awesome.
So, Bruce, thank you so much for watching the show and giving us some feedback.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Bruce Morton in Denver, Colorado.
That's awesome. I love that our reach is going so far.
And to get that comment from Davenport, Florida, which is just outside Orlando, that was huge too.
Mm-hmm. That is.
Yeah. Well, my food for you, and I'm sure that Dr. Holt's going to have some interesting insights into this. Okra.
Okra?
Are you a fan of okra?
I'm not sure I've even ever heard of it.
So,
okra?
So there's your picture of okra.
Okay,
It's
it looks.
trending right now as to okra water. Have you heard of that?
I have not heard of
No.
okra water.
It almost looks like a immature zucchini or something.
Well, you're probably not too far off. It says okra is the seed pods found on okra plants. If you've ever been to New Orleans, you've likely had them in your gumbo.
Okay.
Okra contains polyphenols, which counter the effects of free radicals in your blood,
Oh.
which is so important. I'm going to let Jason throw some thoughts on that. They also protect the aging brain from disease, according to a 2018 study.
Why aren't we talking more about okra? This humble veggie is packed with benefits. First off, okra is loaded with vitamins A, C, and K, plus magnesium, folate, and calcium. These nutrients are essential for keeping your body in top shape. And it doesn't stop there. Okra is a powerhouse of antioxidants. These guys help fend off serious health issues like cancer, diabetes, stroke, and heart disease. Got cholesterol concerns? Okra's high fiber content can help lower it. Plus, it's great for your gut thanks to its anti-inflammatory properties. Worried about your bones? Okra is rich in vitamin K, crucial for bone health and blood clotting. And your heart will thank you too. But wait, there's more. Okra might even help with blood sugar control. Incorporating okra into your meals is super easy. Toss it in soups, stews, or even snack on it roasted. So next time you hit the grocery store, grab some okra and give your health a boost.
Okay.
And there's really a couple ways to eat okra. You can steam them, and which is very common in the South, or you can actually kind of dice them up and fry them, some fried
Okay.
okra. But they are very common in
Oh, yeah.
gumbo.
I grew up in Oklahoma. We had lots of fried okra. That's
Yeah.
good stuff.
If you
Okay.
don't cook them right, they're slimy.
If you overcook them, they're definitely very slimy.
Okay.
Definitely, yeah,
So
boiled
don't
okra can be-
overcook. I think I would like them fried as well.
Yeah.
It's a good intro.
Yeah.
Ease into it. They're good in
The,
gumbo.
the first time I had them, they were steamed, and they were probably overcooked. I'm like, that's nasty. Then the next time, I'm like, oh, these are really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're also
Yeah.
good pickled. You can get a jar of pickled okra.
Oh, pickled okras are amazing. Yeah, actually,
Okay. Okay. Apparently, I'm the only one that's
We-
not
we-
aware.
It's amazing.
Stop avoiding okra because of the slime. Here's how to make it irresistible in 8 delicious ways. Okra can be your new best friend in the kitchen. First up, fried okra. Coat it in cornmeal or buttermilk and fry it up for a crispy southern favorite. Or try the air fryer for a healthier twist. Next, pickled okra crunchy, tangy, and perfect in salads, soups, or just on its own. Grilled okra is another gem. Its stickiness turns into satisfying chewiness on the grill. Roasted okra is a must-try. Roast it whole, trimming just the ends to cut down on sliminess. Stewed with tomatoes, okra becomes a delicious, seasonal delight. Don't forget gumbo. Okra is a key ingredient, adding thickness and flavor. And for a fresh twist, eat okra leaves raw in salads. Lastly, add okra nuggets to your fried rice for a balanced, tasty dish. Packed with potassium, vitamins B and C, folic acid, and calcium, okra is a nutritious powerhouse. Cooking it whole helps keep it slime-free. Enjoy your okra adventure.
So this where it says it contains polyphenols which counter the free radicals. Jason, well, first off, back up for a second. This is Dr. Jason Holt, and you have a doctorate of chiropractic, so you're
Correct.
at DC. But you did go through medical school. You got to understand how the body works.
Well, let's be careful. Not medical school, chiropractic school.
Yes.
Very similar, but there
You
are
went to
some that get
chiropractic
kind of
school
picky
where
about
you
that.
understand biology.
Absolutely. Well, I also have 2 degrees in biology and a master's in nutrition. But
So he
who's
kind of
counting?
knows what he's talking about.
Toot toot.
Toot, toot.
God, that's a cool
So,
tag.
talk about where it says counters the effects of free radicals in the blood. What does all that mean for our listeners?
It helps with all the issues that your body. So when your body does its digesting and taking on things and fixing, you have waste products. So it helps you have a place to send all that and deal with the waste products and move it on out. Mostly my thoughts on that. I find it amusing that we keep finding all these superfoods that turn out to be fruits and vegetables.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like the blueberry is the best thing on earth. Who knew?
Right.
And next week it's the strawberry, and then the acai berry, and then now okra.
Okay.
They're all amazing.
I'm sure you've heard the buzz about antioxidants, but what exactly are they? Let's dive into the science. Antioxidants are natural compounds that protect your cells from free radicals. Free radicals are unstable molecules that can damage cells and lead to aging and diseases. Sounds scary, right? But here's the cool part. Antioxidants neutralize these free radicals. How? By donating an electron to stabilize them. Think of antioxidants as the friendly neighborhood heroes swooping in to save the day. You can find antioxidants in fruits, vegetables, nuts, and even dark chocolate. So, next time you munch on a berry or enjoy some leafy greens, know you're giving your body a powerful defense boost. Remember, a diet rich in antioxidants is one of the best ways to keep your cells healthy and vibrant. So load up on those colorful foods and let antioxidants do their magic. Stay healthy, stay vibrant, and let antioxidants protect your cells. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more health tips.
And if you don't control the free radicals are what begin the formation of cancer.
Okay.
Right. So,
Right?
yeah, if you think of when you cut an apple open, it starts to oxidize and it turns brown and you're like, ooh, that's gross. Well, that's oxidation. So your body does that inside too. So now we're just trying to find things to slow that process down, help you get through it so that you have healthy tissue and not worn out old
Yeah.
tissue.
So a much better process than putting pharmaceuticals in. Let's put some okra in there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Nobody woke up with a deficiency of ibuprofen.
Right.
It's like, that's not why
Yeah.
you're hurting.
Right. Yes.
So interesting food for this time is okra.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have to give it a try.
And I have 2 updates for you.
Okay.
So the first update is the service that we use to get our show out to podcast gives us some very interesting data.
Yeah.
And there's a little country on the very south end of Malaysia, which is Southeast Asia, kind of near the Philippines, called Singapore. And Singapore just moved in the top 5
Oh, wow.
with 43 downloads of our
That's
radio
cool.
show.
Wow.
Singapore
I love it.
has
Hello,
40
Singapore.
Germany has 44,
Okay.
and Singapore has 43.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So that is very cool. My other update for you is we are officially announcing our first quarter's Go team,
Okay.
and you know him. His name is Russ Hedge.
I do know Russ. Okay.
And for those that have followed Russ on social media, you might know what's going on. Russ has been a guest on the radio show a couple of times. It was 2 years ago that we were organizing this flash mob for Jennifer Beaumont. And Russ shows up to the flash mob and told me then, 2 years ago, that he had skin cancer. Now, it started on the bottom of his foot. They saw something that didn't look right. That would have been the summer of 22. He went in for testing. It was malignant melanoma, which basically means it's metastasizing. It goes up his leg. They think they have it under control. They don't have it under control. It went to his lungs. Well, now he has 3 tumors in his brain, and they can't control it in the brain either. So the medical bills are starting to back up, and the quarter one will be a Go team financially to support Russ. And we're in lots of fun conversations to find a venue and a band, and we're going to call it the Russ Rocks Rock Concert.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I did not realize that he had 3 tumors in his brain.
Yeah, the tumors and the treatment they were doing affected his hearing. Devin has talked about that, right?
Yeah.
So he has hearing aids now. Russ and I are about the same age, and he's got these hearing aids, and so he was trying to get cochlear implants. You know what those are?
I don't.
So basically, they're going to put this thing on your head that they feel the vibrations.
Yeah.
The problem is the doctor said if we give you a cochlear implant, we cannot scan your brain. It's going to block the scanning process.
Oh, for the tumors. Yeah. Okay.
So we can't follow what these tumors are doing because we're going to block it with these cochlear implants.
So it's a no.
So no cochlear implants, so we can see what's going on with these brain tumors.
Yeah.
Anyone who follows Russ, he's a very positive person, very positive person. I think he understands the reality of where he's at to the point that he and his wife are reevaluating his life insurance policy. So we are dead set. How can we help you raise $10,000?
Yeah.
He's got all these bills backing up, right? So there's lots more details to come, but quarter one is Go Team Russ.
I'm glad. I'm glad he is such a positive person in this community. So that breaks my heart. He's so positive that I didn't realize that he had 3 brain tumors.
Yeah. Well, I may have divulged stuff that he has divulged on. He's told me and a few of his other friends, so it's not secret.
Okay.
But Russ would probably never go on and tell everybody.
Right.
So I just did it for him.
Yeah. So please keep him in your prayers.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. So
well.
that's our Go team for Q1.
Okay.
Well, what I do want to get into with Dr. Holt is I want to talk about the biology of stress. And all the listeners are going to love the whole topic because
half the listeners.
That's true. Half the listeners, not all the listeners. Tell the story of how that phrase came about with men acronym.
Oh, well, we should probably tell them the phrase.
Yeah.
The idea is that the cause of all stress is men, M-E-N.
So the cause of all of the stress in your life, Amanda, is men.
Yeah. Agreed.
Mine right now agreed. Second that.
Yeah, right? So if we break that down a little bit more, motion or mechanical stress, and then emotional stress, and then nutritional. So the things that we bring into our body and the ways that they get there. It's a nice little acronym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about how to get the men stress out of your life.
Okay.
And the two women are saying yes, please.
Absolutely. So guys, if you prefer, you can do thoughts, trauma, and toxins.
That might be easier for the guys that are listening. Well, this is going to be very scientific, so I'm going to have Jason help break down this. But I'm going back to my Anti-Cancer Living book. The author of the book is Dr. Lorenzo Cohen, who has a PhD. He is in charge of integrative medicine at the MD Anderson in Texas.
Okay.
And this is the section on stress. And he says, tumor-based neurogenesis is facilitated by chronic stress and the release of stress hormones. What this research shows us unequivocally is that chronic stress and cancer create a bi-directional loop that supports the proliferation of cancer. That's a lot of really fancy words.
Yeah.
Can you break that down a little bit for us, Jason?
Sure. Basically what I'm hearing, I might want to peek at the book a little bit, but when the tumor sets in, it's in an environment that helps it grow, and then it makes it so that there's more of that environment. It actually creates neurogenesis, so creates neurons and it's bidirectional, so the tumor is feeding the body's feeding the tumor. It just sets up a cozy little space to grow.
Yeah. The second part of this, and then we're gonna give you an analogy that's gonna be a little easier to follow than all of these very fancy words. But it says another important area of research demonstrates that chronic stress can reach into the nucleus of every cell and create damage to work with these things called telomeres. And they are on the end of chromosomes, which are found in the nucleus of every cell in our body. Telomeres protect the structural integrity of the chromosomes. As the telomeres shorten, we develop what is called chromosomal instability. When cells have chromosomal instability, they multiply. It can lead to mutations. If left unchecked, that can lead to cancer. So again, a lot of very technical biological stuff that Jason's going to try to break down a little bit for us.
Okay.
Yeah. So some of the physical structure when the cell divides, if it's in a cancerous environment, can break down, wear out, and then the copy isn't as good. I think when you and I were talking about it earlier, it's like taking a photocopy of a photocopy of a photocopy.
Yeah.
And you keep doing that, and it loses its integrity over time. And that causes problems.
Yeah.
Well, I love, as we were getting ready for this show, you have an analogy that's probably even easier for the listeners to understand than all of that very technical biological stuff that I just read. And you have this wonderful garden analogy. So give us the garden analogy.
Yeah, the garden analogy is when you are taking care of your garden, your body in this case, then whatever environment you set up, you're making it for what you want to grow. So if you want to grow okra, we were talking about that earlier, then you need to take care of the soil. You need to weed it. You need to make sure that it's the right pH. It's got nutrition. It's got water. So however you set up the environment, whatever grows best in that environment is what's going to grow. So we can't really get mad at the rabbits if they come in to eat the food, or we can't get mad if we have a lot of weeds if our soil is not so great.
Right.
Because that is what takes advantage of what's there. And,
So the goal is for us to control the environment, be in our body,
Yeah.
in the garden that we have, and then we get mad because the weeds grew, or the rabbits came in, or in this case, the cancer grew.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you were in charge of your garden. And I really love that analogy that you had.
Yeah. So if you have too much of something, if the soil is off balance, if it's the wrong, too much nitrogen, I don't know that much about gardening. There's gardeners, I'm sure, that can help us in the comments. But if the soil is off, then the weeds go in to help rebalance everything.
Yeah.
So it's really a problem with having everything in order.
We
You
want
just
to
want-
create a welcoming environment,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So, as in the efforts to create a welcoming environment, I want to talk about your analogy, and we'll stick with the women, okay? So we'll stick with the men analogy. So the first one is the M, which is the motion. And for me personally, I've been in a pretty nasty car crash. I've taken a pretty nasty fall. Anytime I've had to go to a chiropractor, which Dr. Ison, who's been on our show, is my chiropractor. I've gone to Jason for other things as well, but the fall was the first thing to go in, and that's a pretty common reason. But how does that motion affect the environment?
Sure. Motion, we move. We need to be able to move in certain ways. Not too much, not too little. So if a car accident's an easy one because that's just too much motion in too short a period of time and things break. I think that's a pretty obvious thing. The flip side is true, is if you sit in the lazy boy all day and you don't ever move, then you're not getting any nutrition into your joints and muscles, and they just kind of wear out or stiffen up. So from a stress standpoint, I mean, none of us are getting out of this without stress. It's
Right.
just how well do you recover? So the motion is it too much? Is it too little? Or, we're always looking for that Goldilocks phase where it's
Somewhere in the
just
middle.
the right amount. And, are you resilient? Do you use your body enough that it knows what it needs to do if you go on one of these big mud runs or Spartan races, and you're going to be sore? That's okay,
Yeah.
because then you're going to recover.
Yeah. I know that when I was in that really nasty car crash, and I'll make sure that Ashlie has a picture of that car, because when you see the picture, the only reason I walked away from that was I did not have time to react.
Right.
Oh, and that's good.
Yeah, because the entire driver's side front is completely collapsed. If I had reacted, I probably would have swerved, and then it would have hit the driver's side door.
Yeah.
And I would have taken the full impact. But there's still a lot of impact to the car. And I remember Dr. Ison telling me, because I was taking care of my environment, because I was exercising, he said the stress to your body wasn't as bad.
That's good.
He says you could have easily been a lot worse off than you were. And so to Jason's point, it's our job to take care of our garden, our environment.
Yeah.
And I was glad that I did in that case.
Yeah.
Right? So we've got time. Let's jump into. Let's start the conversation on this next one, emotion. And this one is a huge one for me. But I want to get your thoughts on emotion. How does emotion affect us on the stress level?
Well, we have a physical response to emotion, and we don't often think of that, but everybody knows the idea that if you are terrified, if a bear jumps out of the, you're camping and a bear jumps into the campsite, you can pee yourself, right?
Yeah.
That's a pretty physical response to a very
Yeah.
emotional stress. Everybody's been in love and felt the high of being in love. Again, it's a physical response to an emotion.
Right.
And then I know I work with a lot of massage therapists, and a lot of times if you're getting a massage, you could hit a pocket of emotion that's stuck in the tissue and release it. And people giggle uncontrollably, or they start sobbing, or they're irrationally angry because it's something that's been in there for 10 years that
Yeah.
you actually physically release and get that all back into the bloodstream.
I know sometimes my emotions, I'm a shaker. For some reason, my body, if I'm just overstressed or I have anxiety or something is not the way that I want it to be, I shake.
Shake,
And
yeah.
it's crazy. I can't handle it. So yes, that's a physical response to my emotions.
Yeah. So paying attention to the stress that you have, whether it's motion, a car accident, or jogging, or whatever that might be, but also the emotional component. We don't often think of that. So how are you managing that stress? What are you doing? Because it's going to come one way or the other, good, bad, you know, life happens. So are you doing some sort of meditation, or are you maybe doing a physical exercise to help manage that and keeping everything flowing?
That definitely ties in the hypoarousal
Yeah.
and the hyperarousal.
I was
Wait.
just thinking that.
Yeah.
So for those that don't know what Ashley's referring to, please go back to one of our previous shows with Kate when we were doing yoga.
Yeah.
But the hyper and the hypo are such big components.
Yeah. So that's actually something I work on with my emotional part, and the physical part is I break into my yoga moves.
Yeah, a little dancing going on.
Shake out the shaking to try to help
Well, there's a
counterbalance
really good story. I'm going to leave time for Jason to talk about this in the second half of the show, and I'll just kind of give a teaser. What?
N, you didn't do N. You did
And
M and
well, it's still coming.
Yeah.
It's still coming. In the second half, we're going to talk about why zebras don't have ulcers.
that. They don't?
You're going to love this, okay? But I need more than 3 minutes to tell that story, so I'm going to let Jason tell that after the commercial break.
Okay.
But what I do want to share, again, for the listeners that have watched our show for a little while, my son Trevor called in a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, right? He shared some of his experiences, and what happened with my son is he wanted to go to California to pursue a dream, wound up homeless. And I didn't know all the details of what was going on. I just knew that he was in a bad situation. And my body was so locked up. I went in to see my chiropractor. I'm like, I am so locked up. Everywhere hurt. And so he's like, what's going on in your life? And so I told him, he says, here's my prescription. Call your son. Right?
Yeah.
So I called Trevor. He told me everything was going on, and he was homeless. And that's when I knew how bad life had gotten for him. And that night, we had brown sheets on our bed. And if you ever seen a movie where there's a crime scene and they take the chalk and they put it around the dead body?
Yeah.
When I woke up the next morning, I had sweated so much that part of the sheets was a lot darker brown.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I had literally sweated the stress out, right? I had released all of this tension in my body, and I felt great the next day. So my prescription was to call my son.
Yeah.
And release the stress.
Get into your solution with it. Don't
Yeah.
let it just keep festering.
And because Dr. Eisen was part of our funding board of directors, I think he also realized that if I didn't do that, I was creating the garden, I was creating the environment
Yeah.
for cancer to eventually grow.
Yeah.
And he's like, you have got to call your son. You got to get this out of your system. So I love that we're touching on this emotional part. I know we are right on a long time, but once again, please come after the commercial break, because Dr. Holt is going to tell you why zebras do not get ulcers.
Okay. And now I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued. So, Oddmo's Pizza. Thank you so much, Mike, for sponsoring this first half. They've got phenomenal appetizers, which are potato poppers, chicken strips, cheesy garlic bread, mojos, boneless wings, and donut dunkers. So today, after the show, I'm going to go grab my kids and myself some pizza, maybe just them, so that I can go out on a date night. That was a great suggestion.
You like that, don't you?
I do. So we're going to grab some boneless wings and potato poppers, and I may just do the donut dunkers for the kids as well. Why not, right?
They're good.
Why not? So thank you, Mike from Oddmo's, and we'll be right back after these messages.